hair night. Okay. All right. We are recording. Excellent. All right. Welcome to the Bikini Things podcast, where we talk everything from fitness and competing to mental health and living a healthy lifestyle. I'm your host, IFBB Bikini Pro, Laura Moore-Shay, here with my co-host, IFBB Bikini Pro, Sammy Joe. And we're so happy you're here with us. Let's get started. We are recording.
Consistently, yes. So for everybody listening, we started this episode 50 minutes ago and then realized recording had stopped and there was no notification. So here we are back at it, round 2. But yeah, super excited for today's topic. We're going to be talking about the new 2026 Olympia qualification rules. Are back to a point system, which I believe we were in 2019 or 2018.
2019.
So it's really exciting. There's a lot of pros and cons to this. So we're kind of going to go through all of that and deep dive it.
So exciting. And as you ladies know, I've been doing this for a minute. I remember the first point system. Some of the athletes we still have competing today competed when we had the first point system going on. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about how we think this is going to affect the Olympia this year, because this is already likely affecting the Olympia this year. So actually, Sammy, that might be a good place to start, because you made a really good point about girls. Or actually, no, let's start with the rule. Why don't we pull
rules?
Point system? Yeah. And you made a really great point about girls starting early, and I think that's a great place for us to start, because this point system is already going to affect the Olympia this year.
Yeah. So top 25 in points standing qualify for the Olympia. So this is going to be for Olympia 2026. The qualification actually, and this is something we didn't really point out, it started on September 15th of this year and it ends on August 30th of next year.
Yeah.
And then the breakdown is basically if you get first, second, or third in Olympia, you qualify automatically for the following year. Fourth and fifth get points towards next year. If you win the Arnold Classic, Pittsburgh Pro, New York Pro, Mania Muscle Fest, and Dubai Pro, you are automatically qualified, and then the remaining get points. And then points for the other shows. So let's see, there was another one.
So
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Sammy.
I was just going to say, it was down here at the bottom. Any former Olympia winner has lifetime eligibility. However, the eligibility is not automatic. If it's more than 5 years that have lapsed, then the approval of the IFBB is required. So it's basically just like an approval process for them.
Yeah. So, yeah, that one, I don't think, I was like thinking about it for a second. I'm like, well, in my head, I was like, well, Isa Piccini technically won her Olympia in 2019, but there's no way, if she wanted to do it, there's no way they would.
That they'd say no.
Yeah, so it's not really going to affect bikini. I think of it as more of like a bodybuilding thing. Like, let's say you have, not that he would, but like, let's say Ronnie Coleman's like, hey guys, I'm going to do the Olympia. They probably
imagine. Yeah, they'd say yes.
They love it, but like that's what it's like they're trying to prevent someone who like competed 20 years ago from being like, I don't know. Even then, I think they would just say yes. I don't, who knows.
But still, yeah.
So essentially, the rules are a little different. So it is no longer win a show automatic qualification. It is either top 3 in the Olympia, win one of these top tier shows like the Arnold, the Dubai Pro, Romania, Pittsburgh, or win 2 shows, or qualifying points. Ultimately, that seems like a lot of ways to qualify, but essentially it should actually make the pool smaller, especially for bikini. Over the years, we've only increased. Up until this year, I think we pulled back from 2024. There's only been an increase in bikini pro shows, and so we've had more and more athletes. I think we said 78 in the Olympia this year.
Yeah,
crazy, insane. Like 2022, I think we had like 50 something, and we all thought, oh my god, this is insanity. And now we have like 20 more.
Yeah.
There are more than 20 more, like almost 25 more. So it is definitely a lot. I understand, as the promoter of the Olympia, I wouldn't want to have maybe that many athletes. It's expensive, time consuming. One other thing too, Sammy, is like, if you're a bikini athlete and you don't make the top 10, you don't even get to go to finals.
Yeah. So and that's what...
It seems kind of sad.
And two, it's like to have, like, I'm sorry, this is my personal thought. Like, getting to Olympia is a great achievement. So I'm not undermining anyone's achievement of qualifying for Olympia and getting to the Olympia. But I know, like, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here, because if I was one of 78 at Olympia, I'd still be happy. But
Yeah.
to think you're one of 78, or comparing to the Arnold, you're one of how many they have? 14?
Yeah. 10 to 20.
So it's like, yeah. So think of the exclusivity. Like, it's more prestigious to be one of a fewer number. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like,
Yes and
there's,
no. Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, that's just my personal opinion. And think too, like, the way that the qualifications are right now, you win a show and you automatically go to Olympia. Well, what if you only had 10 people at your show, or maybe even less than that? So it's like, was the competition really competitive, or did you just look the best out of 10 people that day, and then now you're going to the Olympia?
Yeah.
And again, not to discredit anyone, because everyone puts in a lot of hard work, but just like,
Yeah.
playing devil's advocate and thinking it that way. And two, like, the Arnold is an application. So like, you put an application in and they're hand selecting you. It's not you just showed up the best that day and they want, like, and you got your ticket.
Yeah.
So there's just like a different. So I think that's kind of the pro of the point system, is that it's a little bit more exclusive. Like, you have to put in more to get that prestigious, like, Olympian title. But then, the con to that is everything we'll get into.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, your point's totally valid, Sammy. So that absolutely makes sense. You're right. The Arnold is more prestigious in some ways because it's invite only. You have to apply. There's not as many athletes. You do get an automatic invite if you win the Arnold Amateur and turn pro. You're automatically invited the next year. So that's kind of a cool thing they do too. At the same time, I think my comment about the Olympia is more that if they can't get all the athletes on the stage for finals, why do you have that many? Or at a minimum, 78 is a lot. Like, I think in the 50s or less is definitely more manageable. But it's like, hey, can you just pop them all on stage of finals? Like, I think that's more where my head's at, is like think of someone like Tara, right? When she came on the podcast and we talked to her about it, it makes my heart hurt because I know how good of an athlete she is. It's like, I want her to have that up on that big stage, that final stage, because the prejudging stage is the expo. And so for those that haven't watched the Olympia or haven't been to the Olympia, the prejudging is the expo stage. So you're basically at an expo hall, just like at a normal, a much nicer, but like kind of like a normal regional show that's at an expo hall. And then the Olympia final stage is the Olympia stage. Like, it's that big stage. And that's what you want to be on. It's not the expo stage that all these girls and all of us want to get on. It is that big stage.
Yeah.
And so that, I think it would be nice for the athletes if there are less of them, so that all of them at least could have a moment of acknowledgement. Like, hey, let's hop up in our suits if we want to, or whatever. At least have a moment of applause for, like, hey, you're one of the best athletes in the world. Could we do that?
Yeah.
Sure,
I definitely,
for like classic bikini.
Yeah. And even if it's a matter of just walking across the stage, like, reading out a name, how long does it take to read someone's name as they're crossing a stage? Like, just walking through, like they do at a national show. They do it at nationals. If they have the decency to do it at a national level for someone who didn't achieve top 10 at a national show, why wouldn't they have the credibility or, make the time to do it for an IFBB pro? Someone who's actually achieved the status and has that status of hierarchy. Make it make sense.
Well, I could also, like, maybe play devil's advocate there too, Sammy, is like, well, they get to do their whole routine at prejudging. And also, a national show takes an entire day. The Olympia finals is like a 3-4 hour show. So you've got to remember they have to fit it all into like 3-4 hours, kind of like a pay-per-view, right? It can't be all day. I guess it could be all day, but then people would like want to do, I don't know, they'd get bored. Maybe they'd want to do other stuff.
Yeah.
They'd want a third day of expo. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, I think what we'll see is definitely the level of athlete, the quality of the competitor, the athletes that are competing consistently and frequently will be rewarded. However, we should expect to see the talent pool shrink a little bit. And ultimately, what's most likely to occur for, I would say, all divisions, but especially definitely bikini and female divisions too, is like most likely drug use is going to increase, because this is going to incentivize people to take less breaks, right? Like, if you're in a prep and say you're running a cycle of Anavar or clenbuterol or something like that you might naturally want to take a break from, just to give your body a little bit of reprieve and make sure that your health is in a good spot, you might not take that break if you've got to push another week or two to get a second win or something like that. You know,
Yeah.
if you're not sure where you stand, and to your point, Sammy, too, and maybe we should kind of touch on how this might potentially affect this year's Olympia, because this is already in effect. So you made a comment
Yeah.
when we were recording the episode the first time that girls are jumping in early. So what did you
Yeah.
mean by that, I guess? What did you mean girls are getting started early?
Yeah, so I noticed, and it's funny because now I'm seeing that this whole qualification point system started on the 15th. And I think one point back to like you saying the whole,
Actually, real quick, I'm going to interrupt you one sec, Sammy. With the qualification year, think of it this way. They introduced the point system, but the way the qualification year works is there's always a break date, right? So that 14th
yeah,
was the last day for 2025, 15th is the first day for 2026, and then you said it ends what, August of your next
30th.
year? Yeah, so it just kind of goes. So it's like once it ends,
Yeah.
I'm saying that more for the listener. So as soon as the qualification for this year ends, it immediately starts for the next year.
Yeah. So, and I even noticed like in the last couple weeks, we've had, a handful of bikini shows, and I've noticed the same people stepping on stage, which it's very common for girls to do shows before Olympia just to kind of get their feet wet, get the jitters out or whatever the situation is. But then I noticed like it was consistent week over week. Like the last 3 weeks, first there were shows. I mean, correct me if I was wrong, or correct me if I'm wrong, but like I saw people competing each week after week. And again, to each their own. Everybody has the, autonomy to make decisions on their own. But I was like, at first I was confused. I was like, if you have Olympia in a week, like why are we starting already? Like I could see one, but like 3 and 4. And then I realized it was because people were already starting to accumulate those points so that they could, just cruise their way into Olympia and then essentially have whatever October to March off for, when bikini shows start to die out. And then they either take more time off in the beginning of the season and then continue to compete up until Olympia, or they try to accumulate all of their points in the beginning half of 2026 and then they can break before Olympia. But even then you have this hierarchy of points, so you can't even guarantee like, okay, in April I don't even know if it can go up this high, but I know I have 75 points. Well, by 3 months after that, another person can be, up ahead of you. So it's really inconsistent in terms of, being able to take a break because of your
Yeah.
health. And we all know that being stage lean isn't a sustainable look for, long periods of time for the
Yeah.
most part.
Yeah, that's a great point, Sammy. And yeah, you're absolutely right. The lack of breaks, it can mean a couple of things. Like I think what I was talking to at first or referring to at first is the fact that yeah, I mean most top pros, Olympians, they're taking anabolics, they're running some type of, protocols, and certain compounds you need to take a break, especially if you're a woman. Like you're running certain androgens, you don't take a break, you will no longer be a woman, or not like a very pretty one.
Yeah.
So we're going to see less of that, but you're also right too, Sammy. We're going to see less breaks in seasons, like less athletes taking actual breaks. And I think we all know, like FBF especially is known for this, right? Where they compete a lot, they compete frequently. And there is some strategy to that. It can also be hard on the body, but I think what we're going to see is more athletes taking that approach where they feel the need to constantly compete, which may be more exciting for the fans. But I also think, and I know because I saw it, I remember it, I witnessed it. You could ask girls who are still on the circuit about it. In 2019, a lot of the girls were running their bodies into the ground and getting burnt out, and it was not healthy. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that is part of why, I think that was a big part of why the IFBB ended it, is they could recognize, oh, this is actually not good for the girls. This is not good for the athletes. The looks at Olympia will suffer. The health of the girls will suffer. And so, and the other thing too, that point system was only around for 1 year. They got rid of it the following year.
Yeah.
So if that's any foreshadowing for a point system, the last one was only around for 1 year.
Yeah. And then you mentioned it affecting this year's Olympia.
That too. So yeah, so this will, I guarantee you can't ever like go back and prove this, but like this is and will affect the quality of the athletes on this year's Olympia stage, because girls competing 2 weeks out from Olympia, are they going to do their best at Olympia if they're competing 2 or 1 week out? No, of course not. Of course not. We all know that you need to focus on your show. Like you need to focus like on the show, the
Mm-hmm.
important one. And yes, like a lot of these athletes they compete a ton, probably doesn't matter, but there is such a thing of like cortisol. Cortisol stress is a real thing. Terms traveling across the country, it is a risk. It is a risk. You could get
Mm-hmm.
sick. You could get a flu. You could get food poisoning. So, all these athletes competing super close to the Olympia is likely gonna lead some of these, at least some of the athletes, I would have to assume at least some of them that are doing this will likely just not bring as rested, as full, as beautiful of a look as they're capable of, just because that's how the
Yeah.
body works.
And then I know the last time, like we were talking about wondering, and obviously we'll never know the answer to this, but wondering if they kind of have that thought process down of like, okay, maybe I'm not bringing my best to this Olympia, but now I have the ability to potentially win two shows. Now I'm qualified for next year. Now I can actually take the time to bring my absolute best to Olympia next year because, like you said, we kind of already have an idea of who top 10 is. And, with the way we were talking about Laura Lee and how good she looks, again, because she's focusing on one show. So it's
Yeah,
like we
yeah,
kind of have an idea of how everything's going to transpire for the most part. So it's like maybe they just go in with like, okay, maybe 2025 isn't my set goal, right?
yeah.
It's just, I've already qualified, I'm here, but now I'm really going to focus for the following year and then, kind of bring my absolute best where now I think I have a chance for top.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this is all coming back because literally we are re-recording. Yeah, so the girls that, to speak to this year's Olympia a little more, it's the girls that probably kind of know, especially if they've gone to the Olympia a few times, right? And they've never cracked that top 10 or top 15. You kind of know where you stand, right? Even if we all have our own little, our own personal amounts of delulu, we all kind of know in our hearts like what reality is.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of know if we're going to get into that top 10 or not, or if we're capable of it, right? We'll sort of know that about ourselves. And the girls that realize, like, I'm not going to stand a solid chance to crack that top 10 or to get into the top 5. I'm better off focusing on next year's Olympia. Let me just rack up points. Let me try to get some quick wins now. Those girls are not going to be focused on doing their best at Olympia, right? Because they realize, like, I might need a lot more glutes or a lot more shoulders or better posing. I've got to somehow figure out how to make my waist smaller for the judges. How do I do
Mm-hmm.
that? So I'll focus on 2026. And so the girls who are, top 10, I guarantee like all of our last year's top 10, the girls were in top 15. They're locked in, they're focusing on this Olympia. But, if you're competing, I would also make the argument, just to play devil's advocate, if you're competing a few weeks from the Olympia, you are not going to do your best. We've seen this many, many years. We've seen a lot of top athletes compete close to the Olympia. They rarely, rarely do their best when they compete close to the Olympia.
Yeah. I
So
feel
just
like just
in
the
case you missed.
atmosphere of show, like prepping, traveling, all of those things, like for a show day, no matter how locked in, no matter how long you've been doing it, you will naturally spike cortisol on a show day or a show weekend. Like it's just, I personally think it's inevitable. Like you can have
Yes.
been doing this for years, your cortisol is naturally going to spike on a show weekend. Like so it's like that there's just so many different things that play into account. And it's interesting to see that they brought this back because I don't know if they realize like all of the cons that we've kind of talked about. I don't know if they've realized what potential negative effects this is going to have on Olympia 2026. No, 27. Well, yeah, I guess 26 and 27 because people are going to not be taking breaks. They're going to be taking, their cycles are going to be extended. They're going to have been doing, whoa, that was not English. They're going to have done, how do I say that?
I think you said it correctly, Sammy.
The
At
first
first.
time?
Yeah. What are you trying to say?
They will have done multiple shows, right? That
Yeah.
sounds right.
Yeah.
Okay. So they will have done multiple shows. They're running their bodies into the ground. Their cortisol levels are spiked. Like there's just so much that happens throughout the year from March to October that it's
Mhm.
just so unpredictable.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And I think you're right too, Sammy, like that forward thinking vision. I think what they're thinking is, oh, we need to reduce the number of athletes. There's way too many athletes. And I get that. I get that. But bigger picture, I'm looking at the division as a whole. We've already established that the entry pool or like the funnel into the bikini and fit model divisions is shrinking.
Mm-hmm.
and that more women don't want to be huge, don't want to be overly jacked. They want to be more of a Pilates princess. We're seeing, I mean, the reality is just in fashion and especially like things that are more girly and feminine and stuff, like all the 90s, 2000s things are coming back. And what was in style in the 90s? Heroin chic runway models.
Mm-hmm.
We're going back, like women's body types go in and out of style, and we are returning. Like, I mark my words, ladies, this is not a bodybuilding thing, this is a societal thing. We are going back to a smaller, less jacked, ideal looking female body.
Mm-hmm.
That is part of what's happening too. It's not just the bodybuilding industry. Less women want to be less huge, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a very fair statement. And so we're already seeing the entry pool into these divisions kind of dying out. Like, we're seeing that not as many girls want to try bikini, even feel capable of bikini now with Fit Model being shoved in our faces. We're seeing a lot of side effects. A lot of women don't want to go to these extremes. And so we've already kind of cut off the funnel and the feeder system to this sport, these divisions. Now we're going to be kicking out a bunch of pros who used to, were Olympians, used to be Olympians, will no longer be able to get there. And they'll likely leave the sport too. So, like, and again, like, maybe this is just where my head's at, but I'm a very intuitive person. And usually my sense of what's going to happen in the future is quite accurate. Like, just with life and things, like, there are a lot of things just intuitively I've kind of just had a good sense of things, and my sense
Yeah.
is that we're going to have a mass exodus from this sport and from these divisions if there are not changes. I think the point system will push pros out of the sport, and what's already happening with Fit Model and with the muscularity needed for bikini, we're already seeing amateurs pushed out of the sport. So it's like,
Yeah.
the only people who are going to be left are the girls who are just really obsessed and running gear and complete delulu that they're fully either already fully masculinized or that they're masculinizing themselves.
Yeah. And I feel like and I know you've been getting these messages too, but like ever since we posted that initial episode a few weeks ago, I've had so many girls, like, and we've even had like comments, DMs, like personal DMs, whatever, just about in general, like not even just bikini. Like, obviously we attract more bikini Fit Model competitors, but like there's been wellness girls, figure girls, like just everybody saying like, I don't know how much longer I personally want. Like, they have a line drawn in the sand, and they're quickly approaching it, not even slowly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's crazy because it's like you have these top people up here, but if there's, like you said, it's a funnel. If there's no more coming up, then it's the same people on stage every single show trying for the same exact thing. They're all eventually going to qualify. They're all going to show up at the same show at the end of the year. So it's like, where is the fun in this
Uh-huh.
if you're watching the same 20 people do the same thing month over month, and then this big
Literally
show, like, it's like this just popped in my
doing
head, but like,
doing the
and
same exact poses, doing the same, not even changing their posing routine year to year. Like, back in the
yeah.
day too, like, I'll be honest, like, I'll throw a little shade. Like, I love Laura Lee. She changes her routine every year.
Hmm.
These other pro girls, you should be changing your routine at least a little bit each year.
At least for the Olympia.
Yeah, don't be boring.
It's like, imagine if
Well, it's like,
every year,
but to your point, Sammy, do we really want to see the same 20 girls do the same routine for an entire season?
yeah, at
No,
every
we
single
don't.
show, every
With the
single
same color
Olympia.
suit,
Yeah.
with
Because
the
once you
same
pick
hairstyle. Like, come
yeah.
on.
And it's like, like, put it in I mean, I'm not a big sports person, but like, put it in perspective that way. Would you want to watch the same two teams like play the Super Bowl every single year? Would you want to see the same two people, like, in whatever sport, in the playoffs, in the Stanley Cup, like,
Yeah.
it just doesn't make sense. Like, there's got to be some variety in there. And it's like, if the bottom of the totem pole is what builds the top of it. So it's like, if you have no one at the bottom anymore, the top of the totem pole is going to crumble.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And it's sad because it's like the voice is at the top, but it's all happening at the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, this is reminding me, we have a couple episodes we still need to schedule. So we need to schedule which day we're going to record the fake natty episode
Yes.
too. I'll lead that one. And then the other one too was, we wanted to do, I can't remember if I brought this up with you, Sammy, but I definitely want to do an episode where we have like an NPC athlete panel where we have a variety of amateur athlete that's can kind of what am I saying? That can give their opinions on things. Like I
I
think
think that's
as
a
pros,
great idea. I was actually just talking to
yeah,
Chris about this. I think we should start bringing some of our clients on. We
yeah,
can do like a panel or individual, like either way, I'm totally down. But I think that's a
yeah.
great idea.
Yeah, I even think a panel like some girls I'm even friends with are like Chelsea who I'm mentoring on the posing coaching. She'd be someone
Hmm.
great. She's super smart. I have a few other girls too, like Vanessa's one I can think of and stuff. So I think we should just do that, Sammy, because
Yeah.
I feel like as pros, we have a voice. We're given a platform. We get to stick IFBB Pro in our Instagram bio and people will at least pay attention to you, right? But
Hmm.
when you're an amateur, people really don't unless you're
Yeah.
just like I think exceptionally attractive or something like that or really good at
Hmm.
social media. That's the only time you really get that attention. And the amateurs deserve a voice too. They're the future of the sport and I think we can all kind of see it's going in a bad direction. Like it just this is like another example, but this just like literally blew my mind. I almost got really shitty. Like I don't want to be petty and I don't want to be mean, but I also like sometimes like I cannot believe the like it's got to be a little delulu or something. I saw this girl who's an amateur and she posted about competing in the past in bikini, competing in fit model, what she was going to do moving forward. And she's talking about how she's not used PEDs. Meanwhile, her jaw is bony and stop sign shaped. Her hairline is receded. Her voice is deep. And it's like, I want to comment on her post and be like, hey, love, I'm so sorry if I'm the one to tell you this, but it is so obvious from your voice and how you look that you're already a user of PEDs. Like it is so
Or you
obvious.
have been at some point.
Yeah,
That's another thing too.
probably for an extended period of time because these things they accumulate. It accumulates. It's not like oh, it's like flipping a light switch. It's like this is your thermostat. The
That's
longer you
another
keep,
thing.
the longer you keep your room at 80, the higher your electric bill is going to be, right?
Yeah.
The
And
higher that
two,
cost is going to be.
say in from March, and this is just some random, like a random example, right? But in 2024, from January to June, you took PEDs, but ever since you've been off, that does not mean that you are like, you're not a lifetime natural athlete. So I do think that that's where some people are getting off by saying, I'm a natural athlete
Oh
just because
gosh.
you're not currently on something,
Yeah.
but you have
Gosh.
taken it at some point in your life. So they
Yeah.
don't feel deceptive saying I'm natural because they're not currently putting something in
Yeah.
their body. So
Yeah.
I do
Okay.
think that's kind of where, and this is just
Okay.
like coming to my mind recently, just because you've done it before and you're not doing it now doesn't mean you're not natural or doesn't mean you are natural.
Yeah. And with the example I'm thinking of, like I forget this girl's name, but Sammy, it's so bad. Like it's like I almost wanted to private message her and be like, "Babe, I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but like you look and sound awful."
Hmm.
I would not go around telling people you don't take PEDs because you just seem like you're a liar.
Yeah.
So it's like some of these, and that's where some of these girls, it's like, I don't know if they're truly that delusional or if they're just pretending this way because they think nobody else can tell. But it's like, it's a complete lack of awareness. I'm like, oh, no, no, babe. Like, you've permanently changed yourself. I can see it. I can see it. You're not going to go back to how you were.
It's
You
like
can
at
maybe
this point,
you can maybe go get a hair transplant and maybe go good find a doctor who operates on transgender women, like men who are transitioning to women to try to
mhm,
like recreate your facial structure. But like I'm so shocked by it, Sammy. It's like I can't shut the fuck up about it. Like, I don't
it's
know.
almost like I want to say it's an epidemic.
It kind of it's literally like part of me and okay, I'm gonna make a joke, but I'm gonna put my little tinfoil hat on. Like this is like my tinfoil hat side coming out. It's like, are there bribes taking place to create gender dysphoria? Like I'm almost like is there some pro-trans group that is incentivizing them to convince more women to take more androgens? Like it is not
Yeah.
good for us. It is not good for us, ladies. And just because you hear influencers and people online talk about all these compounds, Navar, testosterone, and masteron, and primo, and winstrol, you should not be taking those. You should not be doing your first show not natural. Like for real, if you're serious about bodybuilding and you want to be an amazing bodybuilder, you want to be Miss Bikini Olympia, you should be starting your contest preparation. You should be starting out naturally.
Hmm.
You shouldn't be jumping straight to drugs. Like the girl on the last episode, that was like another DM I got where her first cycle was like Primo and Clen and Retatrutide and T3 and an estrogen blocker. I'm like, that shouldn't, I've never even touched like all of those. And
Yeah.
I've beaten girls that have gotten to the Olympia. Like that is so not necessary. And also it's going to fuck up your body. We also talked about last time how it's likely going to fuck up your shape because if you don't have a good understanding of core control or how your muscles work together, you're going to grow in the places you're not supposed to grow and you're not going to grow in the places you need to grow.
Yeah.
And then your structure is kind of effed from the beginning. So it's just like I just don't understand, Sammy. Like I know you get it. So it's like I feel like I
Yeah.
just can't,
No,
I
absolutely.
can't shut up about it. It's
And
just it's
yeah, and this is definitely like the last time we were recording this is where I wanted to like transition our conversation. So I'm really glad that we're
yeah,
pointing this out, is because like we're talking a lot about the pro level, but I think what means the most is the NPC amateur level, because that is what the future of bodybuilding is. So if this whole PED androgen usage is infiltrating the bottom, the top's gonna crumble. And
yeah,
it's just so crazy because it's like the industry is literally eating itself. It is ruining itself
yeah,
for there to be no future. What is Olympia going to look like in 2027? Or yeah, 2027 or 2028? Like, what are shows going to look like
yeah,
then? You're either going to have no competitors whatsoever, or you're going to have competitors that just don't even look like the division or gender that they're claiming to be competing in. And it's crazy because like that's kind of like where like I want to go back to like turning the point system. It's like, do you introduce a point system to narrow the pool, or do you just swallow the pill and make there be fewer shows? Because I can think of about 5 to 10 shows off of the top that like aren't even that big, that probably don't even need to be there. You know what I mean? So it's
yeah.
like
Yeah, but the thing is though, it's like that's where this gets back to being a business model, Sammy, is those promoters
make
are
money.
paying the IFBB money to have the show. So it's
Hmm.
like the IFBB is ultimately the one who decides how many shows there are.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like I don't know, is there another way where you could make it more exclusive or something like that? Or maybe it's like could there be an elimination round at the Olympia? It's like is prejudging an elimination round and maybe only, if they're 80 athletes, the top 25 go on to the finals or something like that. I
And
don't
then they do
know.
call outs from there. Yeah.
I mean, that to be honest, like I would rather watch, like I think I would rather watch, like I would rather see 80 to 100 bikini pros and get to see a whole variety, get to see girls from all over the world, every suit color, whatever, all, every different hair color, all different posing routines.
Hmm.
And then see 25 at night. And maybe if the rest of them are just on the back of the stage, they at least get an acknowledgement. Like that's kind of nice for them.
Yeah.
You're right, Sammy. It's like if you destroy the roots of the tree's gonna die.
Hmm.
The tree dies when the roots die, not when the
Yeah.
leaves die. So in yeah, it's like the leaves, those are representing our top athletes. And I don't understand it. I think it's like literally it's like we're trying to promote gender dysphoria and I don't get it. And we all know that's why things are weird. Like we all know, we can all look around and be like, that girl looks weird. Why does she look weird? You
Hmm.
know? Because I remember having the same thoughts before I started competing, and I would look at the magazines, Muscle and Fitness Hers, and be like, why does that figure pro have such a big forehead? Is she like Tyra Banks? Does she just have a 5 head? Is that what this is? And then I'd turn to the next page and I'd be like, wait a minute, she has it too. And then I'm smart enough to think for myself and use pattern recognition and be like, wait a minute, why do all the girls who compete in figure have big foreheads?
Hmm.
Are they taking something that is giving them a big forehead? There's a pattern here. So
Yeah.
it's like, don't, and when people say, like, oh, it's not happening, it's not that bad, it's like, don't insult people's intelligence. Like, we have eyes. We all know what AI looks like. We all know what face app looks like. And girls are face apping their stage photos and their stage videos too. People are
Yeah.
people are literally trying to Photoshop their videos, as well as the photos are obviously very easy to do that. So, and you can see it. Girls, go use face app. You know what it looks like. We all know what it looks like. You can pick it out. You can
Yeah.
pick it
We've
out.
we've seen Goob expose it, so we know what it looks like.
Yeah. I actually sent him one girl that he won't post because it's not enough evidence. Like she just literally, it's like what was posted was face app. The Gilco video, you can see she looks transgender. It's just like it's so odd. Maybe he'll post it event, probably not, but whatever.
Yeah. The direction is just
It's
crazy.
scary. It's scary. It's yeah. I think one other thing too that we didn't mention, and then we can probably start to like maybe wrap this one up a little bit, is I think the other thing too is just like it kind of gets rid of the element of surprise, right? Like when you
Yeah.
have, like, for example, last year when Kate Carroll beat Ashley Kay, that was a huge surprise. Kate was a new bikini pro, super young, super pretty from Australia, not very much muscle. She beat Ashley Kay. No one expected to see that coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you have a two-win policy for these point systems, we don't have like, oh my gosh, this new up-and-comer who just won her pro card got to the Olympia. However, I could also see, now playing devil's advocate for myself, I could also see that maybe that's a good thing, Sammy. Maybe that gets rid of this idea that I need to do my first show and then turn pro this year and then go to Olympia the same year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because now you got to win two freaking shows to go to Olympia. So the chances
Yeah.
that you're going to go from amateur to Olympian quickly is very small.
Yeah. The instant gratification isn't there anymore,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
kind of a good thing because it eliminates egos too. Because you step off a national stage as a pro and you think, you're on top of the world, and then now you're literally back at the bottom. But now you're back at the bottom and you literally have a point system that you need to climb. So
Yeah.
it's like it almost puts it in a different perspective.
Yeah. And like ladies too, let's not forget like doing all these shows. Think about how much money that is.
I was just
I like money too much, you guys. Like I will be very honest. I like to me money is like freedom and security. I like freedom and security. I cannot imagine doing like 8 to 10 shows in a season. Just
if
like
I remember correctly, and I think we talked about this in the other episode, budgeting out shows. Like if I remember correctly, when I was budgeting out um Nashville Fit, Texas Pro. I did the Florida show. I want to say at minimum, because I try to, I'm frugal. I'm a frugal girly. I will save where I can save. Minimum, I think it was like $1,200 for each show.
yeah, that
And
sounds
that
right.
was hair, makeup, tan, flight,
Travel.
hotel. I don't normally do a rental car, especially if it's like a quick weekend. But like, think of how many shows you're going to have to do each week. And then again, as a pro, you kind of just know that you automatically have to travel for a show. And I guess there's ways to make it a little bit cheaper. But like, again, I was being frugal. Like, that's a lot. And then you still have to work, and then you still have to accumulate vacation time, and then you have to take vacation time. So it's like,
Yeah.
unless you work for yourself, obviously, but still, like, it's just crazy.
Do you want, but even then it's like we work for ourselves. Like we're in the same
I
mindset.
still
I think
budget, you know what I mean? Like, I still
yeah.
have a
Yeah.
finances.
Like I think we're both like balling on the budget mindset. It's just one of those things. Like it's just hard to fathom. Like even if it's $1,200, okay, you do 10 shows. Can you imagine spending $12,000 of your disposable income on competing? It's a lot. It's a lot.
And that's,
There's no guarantee that you're going to the Olympics. And it's not, and Sammy, it's not like, and it's some of this too. It's like, remember, we're saying this for you, the listener. It's not like you qualify for Olympia and you win a bunch of money.
yeah.
Like you might win $1,000, $3,000 from winning that show. But like your flight, I guess if you do go to Olympia, they're gonna pay for your flight. But like your
They do.
Anavar for the year, probably your Anavar, your TRT, your Nolvadex, all that at least cost you $1,000. Like, come on, ladies. Like, let's be real. Like we're spending,
Yeah.
our hair makeup, if we had it done with a V, is like $300-400,
Mm-hmm.
right? For one
Yeah.
show.
You're
So
spending
these
$1,200, maybe potentially, what's the point system? Maybe get fifth place and get 1 point. Maybe get fourth place and get 2.
yeah.
Maybe
What's
third and get
second?
3.
What's second?
4. 4 points. And then it jumps to 10 points for first. And like some of those checks aren't big, and that's not discrediting the sponsor, because, that's
But
by no means discrediting the
for real,
sponsor.
like typically winning a bikini pro show, you might win like 2-3 grand, maybe 5 or 10 if it's a big show.
And
Like
then
if
it
you
dwindles down
win,
from there.
I think Pittsburgh might be 10. I don't know, but
But
yeah,
like,
it's you're not winning much, 2-3K if you win a show,
yeah.
and that will basically, like, if you win a show and you don't have sponsors paying for everything, which only like a couple girls in the world have that paying for everything,
Mm-hmm.
that winnings basically went to the cost of the show.
Yeah. Yeah, and that $1,200 is just the cost of the show weekend, not the prep to get you there either.
Yeah. So, dang, it's a lot to think about. Bikini.
So let us know what you guys think
Oh
in the
gosh.
comments below. Do you think the point system's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? How are we
Also,
feeling?
guess, like, what guest should we interview? Like, is there anyone that you guys really want us to interview?
Yeah, let us know.
We should do more of that. Yeah, it's very interesting. We'll be doing some Olympia coverage. I will be at the Olympia. I wish you could be there, Sammy.
I'm really gonna need Jacob's Racing to stop.
Which day is it of the Olympia weekend? Is it
Saturday?
Could you just leave Saturday? Like, do you just want to come and then like leave to go to
Could
the
come
race?
Friday and then leave Saturday evening and
You
drive
could
to
come
the
stay
race.
with me. We could just do content and like coverage or something.
Potentially.
I booked a room at the Conrad in Resorts World.
Thursday to your Friday.
Thursday to Sunday.
Maybe.
So if you want, we could go like Thursday to Saturday. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe we could finally do our like live podcast. That could be cool.
I have nothing on my schedule.
That could be cool. So yeah,
nothing concrete on my schedule.
Maybe put on your schedule, Sammy. Like we could drive out and then you could fly Saturday morning or
no, I would have to drive Saturday. Yeah, we would probably drive separate. Yeah, because
we gotta go back to Victorville.
Yeah.
Okay, but we could definitely do something, and that would be really fun.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
I like that thought.
I do too. And it'd be fun. Like, and also too, like listeners, like we meet you guys at the shows, we meet you guys at expos. We love you. You're amazing. You're sending us so many great questions. And like, we genuinely want this podcast to be valuable. It's fun for me and Sammy to chit chat and shoot the shit, but it's valuable. And we want this to be for you ladies. So questions you have, things you have, let us know. And then, yeah, it'd be really cool. Maybe we can do something in Olympia, like a little meetup. That'd be cool.
Like a workout too.
Yeah.
Like a workout meetup or just a meetup in general. Yeah.
Podcast and meetup or something. We'll figure it out.
Love.
All right. Well, we will wrap it up here. As always, thank you for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, share with a friend. If you're listening on audio, don't forget to rate, review. And as always, share with a friend. This is how the podcast grows. Share with your gym bestie, your, bestie, posing partner, training partner, best friend, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Okay, let's do a quick selfie.